over me. She's over me. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Saturday edition of the Paranormal Portal. I'm your host, Brent Thomas, and I'm absolutely thrilled you're here with me. I'm thrilled. Just can't wait to get underway. It's our Saturday edition. This is always a fun one for me because I don't have to do it alone. I got my good friend and cohort and co-host right next to me here, and Mr. Don Longbeard is with me. In spirit, anyway. It looks like he's channeling something.
Hello.
Channeling your mic, maybe?
Hello.
Nothing.
Hello.
Oh, there you go.
Hello.
There you are.
All right.
Welcome to the show, Don.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. It's like your first timer here. What the hell? I can't focus.
I don't know what to do. My mic is just messed.
It nerfed.
Yeah, it's.
All right, so you're just stuck with me, ladies and gentlemen. I'll talk to you for the
And
meantime.
I'll just sit here and make funny faces.
He'll just sit here and look normal. The funny face isn't normal. It's not a big stretch. But welcome to the show, everybody. Hope you're having a great weekend. It's a real thrill for you guys to be here.
Attacking me while my mic's off. I see how you are.
Well, I get them while they're free, buddy. Get them while they're cheap and easy. That's my modus operandi. So, but everything going good, Don?
Yeah. It's been a great day.
Okay.
Slept good last night.
Well, we got that going for us. Don has got lots of sleep, ladies and gentlemen. So the portal can continue, and we're just going to get right into it here. Don, what do you got?
I got a bottle.
A bottle. That's a paranormal thing all in itself,
An
isn't it?
itty bitty bottle.
No, I had a list that I was going through, and I want to hit that one again tonight because it's some really cool stories of people having encounters of some kind, and they're not any one type of encounter, but I see I got a little light leak here going on. Got shadows dancing on the wall over there from the light coming through the trees. But it looks, It's really distracting. It's like, what is that?
It's not what you think it might be.
Well, no, I was thinking it looked like flames, to be honest with you, because it's bright light and there's like leaves going through
over
it.
here on
But
the- yeah.
it was like, what the hell is that? So I don't know. I always, I'm a careful homeowner. What can I say? Or home occupier anyway. But what the hell was I saying, Don?
You were talking about this list you were reading through.
That's right. Of
How
these
am I
different
supposed to
encounters
remember?
that different people have had with very strange paranormal events. And now it's not just ghosts. It's not just UFOs. It's not just any one thing. It's just kind of all kinds of different things. And those are kind of the scope of these shows, is that we cover a lot of different material, a lot of different phenomena. I know that, it seems there are some people that are really into the Bigfoot. There's some people that are really into the ghosts. There's some people that are really into the UFOs. And there's some people that are into all or several of those.
Right,
And that's okay. I mean, you don't have to embrace the whole enchilada, so to speak. But I think
But eating it all is good.
it's a buffet when you like it all. But I think here's the thing, though, that I kind of wonder. It's like some people are really okay with the idea of there being UFOs, but they can't even imagine for a moment that there's some undiscovered cryptid out in the woods.
Right, yeah.
They just can't get their head around that. Or there's people that believe there's some undiscovered cryptid in the woods, but wouldn't believe, people that believe in flying saucers are absolutely batty.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the ghost people that may or may not believe in either of the others. But, to me, it's like if you believe in one phenomena, which is, it's incredibly a leap of extra reality or like supernatural events.
Right.
And so you kind of have to have, in my opinion, you kind of seem to have an open mind for the others, because as I believe in all of them, I really do. But I think that a lot of people believe, well, it's possible there's something in the woods nobody's discovered yet because we're always discovering new species. Or it's possible that people are coming from across the galaxy to visit us or to study us because space is really big and we can't be the best that's out there. And in both of those arguments, I would agree with. But I think that what the paranormal demonstrates is the nature of the fluidity of our reality. It's not rigid. It's not concrete. It's
Right.
flowing and it changes. And I think that's what the paranormal to me demonstrates. And I repeat myself a lot about that, but it's a point that I don't think can be made enough. Now, after the hour break, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be bringing some video evidence to
yeah.
the table that we're really excited about tonight. Hey, Bigfoot Odyssey, Gary, how you doing, brother? Great to see you. It's really compelling video. Just on face value, it looks pretty intriguing. We obviously don't know a whole lot about what's going on in this situation, but it was submitted to us from a listener of the show, and we'll get into that after the second hour break. So when we come back from that, we'll go into that video evidence. Really pretty cool video, and I hope you guys will enjoy it. But thank you so much for those of you that do submit evidences, photos, videos, stories, et cetera, et cetera. Now, if you're out there listening and you have something that you'd like to share, all the way through the shows tonight, the phone lines will be open. 720-923-0500. 720-923-0500 will be the number you can call in. Otherwise, you can email in if you have photos of your own that you'd like to bring to the table and share on the show. We'd love to see it and discuss it as well. And the email address is paranormalportalradio@gmail.com. So those are all possibilities. So Don, of all of the phenomena that I discussed, the ghosts, the Bigfoot, the UFOs, where are you at? What do you think is the most
plausible?
Well, I don't want to say plausible.
Okay.
But for you, what is the one that you most resonate with?
Aliens and Bigfoot, because
Bigfoot.
there is at least a chance for absolute physical proof,
Okay.
as opposed to video and eyewitness reports. I have a thing. I have a problem with eyewitness reports because I worked in the prisons for so long. And one thing we're always taught when you're working in a prison is that you don't believe anything you hear. The only thing that matters is what you see and what you deal with personally. It's like my mom always said, believe none of what you hear and half of what you see. That's pretty much where I am.
Sure.
So for me, the physical possibilities of Bigfoot and aliens have more weight to me than spirits and supernatural phenomena like that.
Okay.
However, that doesn't mean it doesn't happen, because I've had some things happen in the studio that I could not really truly just go, yeah, well, that was this or that was that.
Right.
The one time the hair stood up on my, I got the shivers, and you said, oh yeah, there's something standing right next to you. Might be
Right.
sitting on your lap. Who knows?
Sure.
So I mean, it's possible, but absolute empirical physical evidence is something altogether more weighty to me.
Sure. No, I understand that, and that's pretty specifically how you like your reality.
That's right. Yeah, in
I like my
face.
reality solid and chewy.
Yes. Well, a little medium rare, a little rare. That's okay. I can do that.
I like it so I can put it on the grill. No,
It's not cooked all the way through. Just eat it. Little steak sauce, you'll be fine.
yeah, exactly. But we're going to go through a lot of those things, ladies and gentlemen. So I hope you're excited to hit that. Oh, gee, what was that? I had another thing pop open completely that wasn't even near that tab. Okay, looks like I'm back at it. Okay, here's one of the first stories that I was going to cover. So it says when I was 12, I spent the night at a friend's house, and we were up late chatting, falling asleep, listening to some music, which of course was Hotel California. Brilliant song, by the way. And suddenly the music stopped. A bright blue light rather, shined into the bedroom window, lit the room up, and then dissipated. Hotel California resumed like nothing had happened, and we were frozen, dumbfounded, and freaked out, getting lots of chills and feeling really weird. Did you see that? I reluctantly got out of bed to peek outside. Nothing there but an empty parking lot by a wooded area. I looked at the clock, and it said 2:14.
Oh, boy.
What does that mean?
Well, it's near that time.
Oh, sure. Yeah, it's getting close to the 3 to 4 a.m. period, but, it's all the witching hours. So for the next couple of years, I became somewhat of an urban legend among my friends. We'd stay up until 2:14 at each other's house and dare something to happen like that again. Lots of fun scaring ourselves, but nothing happened. It just became known as 2:14, and we joke about it whenever we saw that it was 2:14. 2 years later, I was at a different friend's house, up late, watching movies in the living room. Hot Dog, the movie. It was over, and we shut the TV off, and we're just chatting like normal, falling asleep, and suddenly a bright white light shined in the living room window, lighting up the place and then dissipating just like the blue light from 2 years before. And I was immediately struck with fear, and I said, "Did you see that?" My friend replied, "Yeah." I was filled with dread as I turned over to get a view of the VCR to see what time it was. My body was covered with chills in anticipation. It was 2:14. My whole body was covered with shivers, my eyes watering, just freaking out. I already knew I didn't need to get up and look out the window. My friend's backyard was just all woods. Nothing could have been back there. Suffice it to say, with two different witnesses to go along with myself, 2:14 was a confirmed real thing in my life, and I've been haunted by it ever since.
Wow.
Nothing like it has ever happened since, but it sure did color my adolescence and make me intrigued and fascinated by all things paranormal, unexplainable, weird, fantastic, etc. It was no surprise I became a huge X-Files fan. Oh, no kidding. Now, here's the thing, and to me this is maybe important, and it depends on what you guys think, but I think that there's a reason it kept happening at 2:14. Now, what is that reason? I don't know. But one of the things that I would do if this was my situation and something kept happening at the same time over and over is I would look into some numerology. I'd look into what the hell is the significance behind the number 2:14. Now, I do that all the time, ladies and gentlemen. Like, I can't tell you how many times I'll look at the clock. It'll be 111, 222, 333, 444, 555. It happens all the time. Haven't seen 666 yet.
I hope you never do, because that's a malfunctioning clock.
Actually, there's an old legend of that if a clock ever strikes 13, that it's foreboding of a death. Perhaps yours, but that's another thing altogether. But I do look up what those numbers mean, because I think that sometimes those higher energies, whatever they may be, and it's up to you to define what that means, whether it's your guardian angels, whether it's your God talking to you, if it's some spirit guides, whatever you want to call them. And I don't think it really matters what you identify them as, but I think that they sometimes speak to us symbolically and show us symbols that we're supposed to kind of figure out.
Right.
And when we look up those things, what can they mean? So for this person, I would say, well, I'd be looking up the number 2:14.
Speaking of,
Yeah,
may I go into it?
by all means.
Number 2:14 meaning. Now, this comes from affinitynumerology.com.
Okay.
It says 2:14 energy is introspective and intuitive. It values relationships, whether family, professional, social, or occurring in nature. A person whose destiny is calculated by the intrinsic number 2:14 exists with numerology energy that nudges them towards both spiritual and scientific studies.
Ooh.
The 2:14 person tends to be somewhat of a recluse, with an exception of who they have a comfortable relationship with, generally family, friends, or professional. Let's see here. Let's look down here. Their outlook and their goals tend to be spiritual, although scientific is valued. Comfortable in old houses. that are refurbished or remain in good condition. They're also comfortable in libraries. The energy represents the numerology 214, includes a resonance with exploration, pragmatism, companionship, and analysis.
Wow.
Teamwork, knowledge of self.
Okay.
So there you go. Some
So that's what this
basic
person
ideas.
would have found, and maybe that would resonate with them. I don't know. I mean, it's just it's a stab in the dark, but whenever symbols like that reoccur in our lives, I think it might be a message, and I think that it's important, maybe important to look into what that message could mean.
Right.
So and I think we all have those messages. I mean, and it'll be different for every person. It may not be numbers at all. It might be a certain word. It might be a place, that seems to come up all the time. And what is that telling you? I don't know. And I don't pretend to be able to tell you what it means, but I'm just telling you that perhaps at the very least, what it means is somebody's trying to tell you something.
Somebody's trying to speak to you.
Yeah. And so, you can either acknowledge those things or just discard them. And I have no horse in the game, no dog in the fight, so to speak, So if you discard that stuff, cool, I understand. A lot of people just don't have room in that, in their paradigm or their life, and that's perfectly cool. But for those of you that do, maybe you'll find some higher meaning that you need to notice, and maybe you won't. Maybe it'll just be a bunch of nonsense. But I just think it's worth looking into. So I think that's a pretty cool story. Did you enjoy that one, Don?
Yes, it was nice. It was very nice.
Did I read it well, Don?
I thought you performed it perfectly.
Well, thank you, Don. I've been practicing.
Settle down there, creepy.
I'm a thespian.
I'm a thespian.
I did say thespian.
Yes.
Just for the record.
Yes, thespian.
Oh, my God, ladies and gentlemen. It's definitely the portal. We're already circling the drain.
And it's not even Whack Job Wednesday.
Yeah, well, it's Stupid Saturday maybe or something. I don't know.
Silly Saturday.
Silly Saturday.
Silly Saturday.
All right.
That's silly Saturday for some of you.
Ooh. I swear I had an abduction-like experience. I went to bed just like normal, and I had what I could only be rationally explained as a really lucid dream that I awoke to a darkened room with a light above me. It was in a medical chair, and what made me wake up was an extreme pinching pain around my cervix. I was comforted by a female human, who held my hand and told me to go back to sleep. It felt like I was given a sedative and everything went dark, and I don't remember waking up that night, only that I became aware that I was staring at my ceiling. I'm sorry, I'm just reading like terrible right now. And I couldn't move, sleep paralysis. And when I was able to move, I rolled over, and I was still scared at this point, but I managed to go back to sleep and never ever told a soul. It wasn't weird until I went to the next gynecology appointment a month later, and I was told that I had abnormal scarring on my cervix that wasn't there before. So it always made me question if my experience was real. I have a hard time talking about it for fear of being thought of as crazy. Wow, that's pretty powerful. So what the hell would cause abnormal scarring on a cervix, Other than aliens. I mean, I don't know. Is there any naturally occurring event that would cause scarring on a cervix?
I wouldn't say naturally, I don't think. I mean, maybe I don't know, maybe an infection I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I mean, I'm
But if
obviously
it
not
just appeared now, how long has it been since she had her last gyno,
I don't know.
So,
But she distinctly recalls in this lucid dream waking up, being in a weird surgical kind of chair or dental type of chair, feeling that pinch around her cervix and being lulled back to sleep. And then, the next gynecological appointment, finding out she had weird scarring on her cervix, the same place that hurt during this experience, or, quote unquote, the experience, as the case may be. So that's really strange. That's really, really bizarre.
Well, and we've Drone's here. Hi, Drone.
Hey.
We've talked about, women who have become pregnant after abduction stories, and then
right, and
months later,
not pregnant again.
Yeah, not short months later, not like gestation style, but short months later, they're no longer pregnant for whatever reason. No, no physical evidence of ever being pregnant, or at least being pregnant recently. So who knows? If she blacked out and came back, maybe they folded space, after they got her, and folded space back and put her back in the same timeline after a few months of gestation. Who knows?
Who knows?
That's one way to look at it. Randall says it was just indigestion.
Does
I don't
indigestion
think so.
scar cervixes?
I don't have any
I don't
clue.
know. I don't know. Definitely have to be aware of your diet if that's the case.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
That's horrible. But I don't know what happened. That's really strange. I think that's pretty profound. At least lending credibility to the possibility. And I'm not saying
Credibility to possibility.
credibility to the potential or possibility. Because I can't say for sure that she was abducted. I can't say that she wasn't abducted. And there is a correlation between what she experienced in that dream and her having scarring on her cervix. So I think that's really powerful. But, again, it's kind of up to you guys to believe what you want. I tend to believe that there must be something to that, but that's just me on the outside looking in. And it's my show, so you get to hear it.
Tough luck.
Yeah, I tell you, I got a microphone, and I'm going to fill it with whatever I want.
I'm going to beat you to death with it.
Yeah, here comes my truth.
There you go.
So I walked 2 miles home from my closing shift at Taco Bell.
Nice.
That's almost paranormal by itself. I know I've had some paranormal experiences after Taco Bell.
Exercising demons.
I pushed some demons out, I swear to God. So the whole time I felt uneasy. When I got home, I tried a brief. When I got home, I have a brief moment of relief as I shut and lock the door. I still live with my folks back then in their split foyer house. The basement of the front of the house was half underground, while the back is not. So at the entryway, I got to enunciate better. I turn on the basement light for a second to make sure the floor is clear of my brother's toys, and after confirming it was, I turned off the light and walked down the stairs. Sometimes you get that sensation in the corner of your eye that something's there, and before you realize what's going on, you're staring something outside the window. You're staring at something outside the window. Only saw glowing red eyes staring back at me. I was frozen. I had to have been over 7 feet tall. It says I was frozen. It had to have been over 7 feet tall. And then I bolted into my room, got under my covers, and stayed there for a few minutes, hoping I was just imagining it. Mm-hmm. Then the back porch door opened. Oh, no.
Oh, boy.
And my dog, who was kenneled right next to the inside of the door to that same porch, starts going crazy. Thank God for that, I thought, as I heard the porch door open and close again. Mm. Wow. Can you imagine that? Seeing glowing red eyes. It's about 7 feet tall. I think that sounds squatchy to me.
Yeah, it does.
Oh, my God. And then it's actually coming in. Now, that's the dangerous part, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, there's many, many stories out there of Sasquatch being around houses, and that's no big deal. But when you get to the part where they're actively trying to come in when they know someone's there, that can only mean that things are going to go really bad. Sideways. They're really going to go wrong in a hurry. That's a really, really dangerous situation. Now, I get that they're a really curious being. They're a really curious, I suppose you can only stare at sticks so long before you go a little crazy, and you got to see something a little more stimulating.
a little.
They come up and, watch people's windows and stuff. But once they make that move to cross that threshold, to come into a home they know is occupied, because it stood in the window and looked at her, I assume her, but I think that is so incredibly scary and dangerous. That is a bad, bad, bad situation. So thank God the dog was there and kind of spooked it out. But yeah. I wonder if the dog's going to go missing next. And then there's nothing to go crazy in the kennel. But wow, very, very scary. That one to me really makes me worried.
And not really, it's not really worried about coming in and knowing somebody's there or something's there. That's the scary part. It's like, I don't give a crap. I'm bigger than all of them,
Well, right, but it's like it's the moment it's reaching for that door. Mm-hmm. It knows it's coming into your house where you are.
Mm-hmm.
It's one thing if it wants to come out when it believes nobody's there.
Right.
Then it's curiosity. Then it's like, they just want to see what's going on. I can understand that. But at the point it touches that door to come in when somebody is there, it's got other plans. There's something really wrong in that situation, and that scares the hell out of me.
Mm-hmm.
Just the idea that somebody could be facing that. Oh, dear God. And I've shared the story before about when I heard that growling behind me. Now, I couldn't turn around. And the reason I couldn't turn around to face whatever it was because in that moment, I knew I was going to die. I knew I was going to die. Just whatever was making that sound was so, so mad. And it was so absolutely emasculating. I didn't want to know what that thing looked like that was going to kill me. I didn't want to take that with me. I didn't want that to be the one thing I carried into the next world was, oh, yeah, this is what did it. So I don't know, to think that it could be coming into your home, my God.
Yeah, when you're not there.
Well, when you are there, it's even worse. When you're not there is bad, but when you are there, oh, my God. Oof. So that freaks me out. How are we doing for time? Let's see. We're down to a minute. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to use that minute to tell you about our podcast.
Oh, yeah.
If you haven't heard of the Paranormal Portal podcast, we have a podcast, ladies and gentlemen, released 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. And special thanks to Pandora Podcast for making that, or Revolver Podcast. Revolver Podcast for making that possible. I'm sorry, I was just thinking of our numbers, and Pandora jumped in my mind. But it's been going really good. A lot of people are finding it, and we're getting lots of great feedback. But if you haven't heard it, please do and subscribe on whatever platform you listen to podcasts on. It would really help. But thank you so much for those of you that have tuned in and are supporting it actively. So spread the word to those that don't know about it, though. Just saying. There's more of us to go around. But we'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen, in just a couple minutes for more of the Paranormal Portal.
Thanks for staying with us as long as you have. And that was the end of our first break. So we're starting the second half hour of the show already tonight. And certainly want to make sure that we thank our fellow listeners and paranormalites or whatever they are. Lucky's in TFR, Wookie's there, Donkey Hottie and All One. And then over in YouTube, we've got now. I think I said her name wrong the other day. I think it's Beth Fierce. I may be wrong.
Fierce.
Got Bigfoot in Germany. Brian Gasket. How you doing, Brian? Got Mr. Duke Sullivan, Brown Dwarf, Carl Platz. Is that the Carl that had to go to Walmart the other night? I survived. How about you? Chris Guy, D's in there. Hi, D. Our friend Deb, Gemini, Pam's there. Hi, Josh. Lisa Heilman, MCAT, nice to see ya. Randall Electric, how you doing? Ken from the Rotman 1, Mr. Australia, and of course me, Aether Archives. There you go. So welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us, and let's get back to more of the show, eh?
Well, that's what we're doing, Don.
Excellent.
This is all parts of the show, all little pieces and parts. But you guys definitely are a big part of the shows every time, and we want to make sure to let you guys know how much we appreciate you guys being here and supporting everything we are doing. You guys are nothing short of amazing.
I forgot to say cha-cha.
Cha-cha. Cha-cha. Cha-cha's here, and Cha-cha is...
Cha-cha's a meme.
She's a meme. Cha-cha's a meme.
You gotta be careful with those letters.
You're a meme. Meme. All right, so there you go. Don't spam our chat now, young lady. Might have to give you a timeout. So,
Noli 420. There's a couple drones here. Tesla Tech, and there's a lot I forgot. And I forgot Mr. Bigfoot Odyssey Carey as well, and Daniela as well. So there you go.
Very good. Well, if anybody else is in there that we didn't mention, please give us a shout out. But let us know, and we'll give you a shout out as well. But just want to thank you guys for being a part of the shows. It's really amazing, and you guys make all of this worthwhile. You really do, and have done so much to spread the word about the shows to so many others. But we got a call, so
Got a call.
we got a call, and it's area code 714. You're on the air.
Hello,
How are you, sir?
Don Brent.
How you doing, Brian?
You know who this is?
It's Brian. We got caller ID, so we can we can cheat a little bit.
Oh, well, goddamn. Good. Okay.
Gosh darn. How you doing, brother?
A couple weeks ago, I was in my store at like 4:30 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And there was only me and my assistant manager.
Okay.
And he was on the opposite side of the store. And I was stocking, single paper towels, rolls of paper towels, right?
Uh-huh.
And it goes like 5 wide and 5 deep. So everything that was extra, like I pushed to the back. I got off my stool, and when I turned around when I got off the stool, I had a roll of paper towels fly off the shelf into, the toilet paper side of the store.
Wow. That's pretty intense.
So it
Yeah.
flew across the aisle.
And yeah.
Huh.
And it was all the way to the back. It wasn't in the first row.
Oh.
It was like all the way to the back, 5 deep,
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And I got this cold chill,
Uh-huh.
and I'm like, holy hell. I'm like, all right, I'm leaving right now. Like, I picked it up and I put it back in the spot
Uh-huh.
where it was at. And then I started to walk towards another aisle, and we have these like little baby motions, like these little baby toys
Okay.
that go off whenever somebody walks by.
Right.
Sure. Okay.
And we had 4 of them. Well, I witnessed 4 of them go off with nobody around.
Oh, creepy.
Okay.
Wow. Yikes. So, is this the store have a history at all?
I'm trying to look into it, but like there's been a couple people that have been stalking early in the morning
Uh-huh.
that have seen shadow people.
Mm.
Oh, yeah.
So I
Yeah.
mean it's quite sketchy.
Mm.
It is.
I mean like
Wow. That's some pretty profound activity too. I mean, that's not just you got a weird feeling and bugged out. It was like something lobbed itself
Right.
without explanation across an aisle, and then you got baby toys going off. Anything else, or is it just those two occurrences so far?
I've been trying to talk to people about it, but they don't want to say nothing because
Oh,
they don't believe in it.
Right. Right.
that's funny.
Like
Yeah. That to me is comical
I mean
because
like
I think people really try hard to hang on to their paradigm. They'll just desperately hang on to it, with even if it happened to them and they know it happened to them, they just don't want to acknowledge it because acknowledging it means that something's changed.
yeah, I mean like my assistant manager was across the store still when
Okay.
I went to go find him
Mm-hmm.
to see if he was like messing around with me,
Yeah.
but he wasn't anywhere near. And there's no way without making noise that you could run across the store,
Right. Now, did you tell him about the
you
experience?
know. Yeah, and he's one of the ones that told me like, yeah, he's seen
Oh.
people walking through the store when it's closed.
Oh, that's so creepy. That is so creepy. You got to wonder what the hell do they want, you know? What do they do? Why are they there?
I don't know. I mean, like this store goes back to at least the 80s. It was a pick and save.
Okay.
Okay.
You guys remember that?
Sure. Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't, but I'm a Midwestern guy, so I'm not from the region.
No.
But yeah, that's wild.
But yeah. I mean,
So you don't really
that's my quick little story.
you don't necessarily feel afraid. It just startled you, and it's freaky, of course, but you don't feel like you're afraid to go there, right?
Not afraid, but
Okay.
there's been a few times where I've been there that early, like 4:30 in the morning, and like I get these chills
Mm-hmm.
and like cold wind, even though like the AC it really doesn't work,
Oh.
you know.
Yeah, I understand. Now, I do have a question from the chat room that says, "Do you have cameras in the store? Are there cameras capturing anything as well?"
Yes.
Okay. Wow, that'd be really cool.
All right. I'll have to ask because I'm not privy to those videos, because
Okay.
since I'm a minion.
Well, and a lot of those cameras nowadays, of course, they're DVRs, so they're digital. So you don't really have to stop them like an old VCR.
Yeah.
You don't have to stop them and then rewind it. You can actually just rewind it live, and it'll still record. So it's possible that you might be able to go back to that time if you can remember the day and the time.
Yeah.
Obviously you were stalking overnight, so and you know what day it is, so you've got an idea of the time. I bet you if you went back there, you'd be able to check it out, and you wouldn't be able to, if you decide to do anything with it, you wouldn't really want to, say where it's from necessarily. That way you're not giving away like information to you. Yeah, we stole this video from the store, and the bosses get mad. So, but it'd be an interesting idea to go back and see if you can look at those,
Right.
and maybe get your cell phone out, do the
Absolutely.
little cell phone video thing.
That'd be
So,
cool.
Yeah.
That'd be really neat if you could. But
Yeah, definitely. I'll ask around to see what I could do, and I'll just do it on my phone and
So
DM you guys.
EM, just on a side note, if you got to be there and you're worried about this stuff happening, just acknowledge that they're there to say, hey, I know you're here.
Stop
You know,
throwing
here's
my
the
stuff
deal.
around.
I'm just trying to get my job done. Please don't hassle me.
Yep.
I understand you're here. I can't help you. I don't know what you want, but please just don't bug me.
Let me do my work.
You know, I mean, really, just acknowledge that they're there and address it and let me know how that works.
yeah.
Either it'll get a lot better or a lot worse. I'm just kidding.
Well-
I'm just kidding about that.
Well, honestly, I think that might work better with the customers. So,
Well, that's true too. But thanks for calling, brother. I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
nice to hear from you, bud.
all right, love you guys.
All
know
right.
that.
All right, we love you too,
We do
brother.
too, bud.
Thanks for calling in.
So Bama
All right,
BF
see ya.
says, "Oh, sorry." Yeah. Bama BF says I was traumatized in a Walmart as he walked by a sensor-activated talking Elmo. True story. Yeah, I would be too, and that's absolutely horrible. It is.
Elmo loves to play.
No. It's like finding a burned up Teddy Ruxpin that still works. Like, oh my god.
Elmo doesn't like you.
All right, we got a call again, and I believe this is. I know who this is, but let's just
Oh,
make sure
I
it's
know who it
area
is.
code 432. You're on the air.
Hello, Brent. Hello, Dawn. This is Sean Connery.
Why, I knew you'd call in sooner or later.
That's what your mother said.
Yeah. I'm calling you. I'm calling you from heaven. calling you from heaven.
From heaven, of course.
Heaven.
Lots of fire here in heaven. Imagine how much.
It's very hot here. I'm not sure what's going on.
I had a lucid dream once. It was in October. Red October.
That's pretty good, brother. That's pretty good. I like that. This is our celebrity call-in line, of course.
I was on a mountaintop, and I was teaching a young man the sword fight. No, that was Highlander. I remember. I was James Bond. No, wait, I was actually James Bond. No, I was Burt Reynolds, and Morgan Fairchild would not sleep with me. No, that's a dream, more like a reality. but over swimming in a lake of fire here in heaven. He's not laughing.
Oh, that's hilarious. Celebrity call-in night here on the portal, ladies and gentlemen. And joining us now is Mr. Sean Connery.
Thank you for that. Always call you guys from here in heaven. I find a portal, the portal every night. No, I'm sorry, guys. I had to mess with you just a little bit. I apologize for that.
Oh, that's great. We love that. We need that lively joy to take place here on the portal. How you doing, brother?
Nothing wrong with this. A little bit of mild entertainment. My Sean Connery is terrible, but that's the only person I really know how to even remotely.
I was completely convinced. That was awesome. That was pretty good. I like
Okay,
that.
well, but all seriousness aside, I actually do have lucid dreams all the time. I know you mentioned that before, and that's what kind of stuck with me. And the reason I know I'm dreaming is because a tornado shows up. And I know I've never seen a tornado in real life ever. I mean, I've seen them on TV. Obviously, everybody's seen that. But I've never been in one. I've been around them. You know, they came through at night, being out in West Texas. But I've never been in one. So I know if I see a tornado, I know immediately that I'm dreaming. It's just like my key
Sure.
to have this lucid dream. And you literally can do anything. You don't stay dreaming very long.
Mm-hmm.
But the weird thing is, like in the dream, I'm not where I think I am. Like I'm dreaming and I'm like, okay, I'm actually on the couch at the house. But in reality, I'm at work in West Texas in the bed. You know, so it's like, I know I'm dreaming, but I don't know where I am in reality. It's kind of a weird thing, actually.
No, I've experienced that
But I know
very
you
thing.
mentioned.
I've had that exact thing happen to me.
I'm sorry, we must have a delay here.
Yeah, I was just saying I've had that exact thing happen to me before, and it was like a series of waking up in different places, but I knew it wasn't the right place. And then I would close my eyes again and wake up somewhere else, and no, I wasn't really there either. And that was really, really bizarre. It was very strange. But I once you said that, I was like, wow, I know what that's like.
Yeah, no, crazy. And I've had sleep paralysis also. I've never had what they call old hags.
Uh-huh.
You know, I haven't experienced a lot of paranormal stuff. I'm sorry, I'm just a Bigfoot guy, but I haven't experienced all. But I have had sleep paralysis, and I went to the doctor for it actually because it was happening quite a bit. And what he told me was there's a chemical in your brain that shuts your body down and keeps you from acting out your dreams.
Yes.
So it kind of, you know, and what's happening is that chemical is not getting flushed away fast enough. When you wake up, that chemical still got you paralyzed. You're awake and aware, and you're trying to move a pinky. You know, I've been, you know, I can't countless times I've been trying to punch Linda and wake her up.
Yeah.
And I can't reach her, you know.
Yeah.
But that's apparently a chemical thing, and a lot of people think it's paranormal, and it could be. There could be those instances where it's paranormal, and there's actually an old woman trying to choke you to death or whatever. But no, I just I wanted to call this with you guys for a minute, so I appreciate you giving me airtime.
You, sir, are always welcome.
Absolutely. Now, I got to ask you, though, when you had the sleep paralysis, did you feel or witness any other being there? Did you feel like someone was there doing this, or did you just feel like you couldn't move?
No, that's what I was saying. I didn't experience the old hag.
Okay.
I didn't see any. There was nothing else there. I mean, but I was pretty freaked out that I couldn't move.
Yeah.
You know, every single time. But you don't think you can get out of it.
Yeah.
You know, you're trying so hard to just sit up, and I in my dream or in that state, I think I'm flailing. I really do. And then it's like, no, you didn't move the whole time. So I thought that was kind of a weird thing. I actually think that I'm almost moving just a little bit. You know, I'm trying to hit her, you know, on the back with the back of my hand or something to wake her up, just to shake me and get me out of this. But it hasn't. Well, I had a lot of nightmares from you know, having a very vivid and horrible Sasquatch encounter.
Yeah.
But you know, I haven't had in a very long time, and I don't know if any of that stuff's attributed. It could be, but I know it's been a while since then stuff's happened, but it has happened to me. But I don't think it was paranormal or anything. I'm kind of in this at this time. You know, I think the stuff is probably possible. The energy is everywhere. You know, and that feeling you get, that hair standing up on the back of your neck. That's, you know, EMF does that to you.
Yes.
Electromagnetic.
Yep.
He does that to you. And so, I mean, that all could be. Just know what I've experienced, what I've seen, and
well, you've seen a lot more than most people, and you know, my hat's off to you that you still continue, even in the face of having been through something so traumatic. So, you know, I mean, that's no small feat.
Took a long time. I still don't like going out there.
Yeah. I don't blame you, brother. But I'm glad you're going out there because I enjoy watching what you're doing when you're going out there.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm not gonna hang on. I don't have very much else to say. I know it's probably not very entertaining for anybody else, but I just thanks for letting me mess up a little bit.
Anytime, brother. You can bring your impressions over anytime. We'll be happy to talk to you.
That's the one I got, man. So you know, whenever Sean Connery calls, you know who it is.
You had me going there for a minute. All right, take care, brother.
All right, y'all be good.
All right, good night. Very cool. We got another call, and this one is coming from
you know who.
Area code 701. You are on the air.
Well, I'd like to share what me and Scooby went through one time on Scooby Snacks.
Yeah. How you doing, Naysay?
Oh, Naysay.
Good evening. I am absolutely as fabulous as the universe allows.
Right. Good. Well, welcome to the show. Great to hear from you. Where you been?
I have been on the highs and the lows of Sundance I went to a few weeks ago,
Oh, okay.
which was an incredible experience, and that's part of why I was calling. I was at the Yankton Sioux Tribe in South Dakota, and I tried to bow out 3 different times about not going to be an inconvenience to anybody, but my friend was very adamant, and he drove 6 hours to come and get me and drove another 6 hours to get there.
Wow.
So it was pretty spectacular. But what I wanted to share with my experience is prior to going, when I was going to go originally, I started gathering my articles or tools or we call it our bundle, like our sacred bundle.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to bring my buckskin shirt and my ribbon shirt, and also I wear my VA shirt from when I was in the Navy. And so we're looking all over for my Navy shirt and my ribbon shirt, and we couldn't find it. It's usually kept in the same spot in my closet, right next to my daughter's regalia, or their outfits, their jingle dresses and that. And I had literally 6 people looking for these shirts. No one could find it. Just before we left, all of a sudden it got hit me. Go look in the girls' costume trunk down in the basement. So my buddy goes down there and he finds my Navy shirt and he finds my ribbon shirt. But no luck with my buckskin shirt. So we go down to the ceremony and we go and experience it. While we are at the ceremony, every night it rained, like torrential rain.
Right.
And every time it was raining, I kept getting these dreams or visions of these water entities, because about 200 yards from the camp area where the Sundance was the Missouri River. And I started asking around about, what about, the water entities? And I'm asking some of the elder Lakota, Dakota, and Nakota people there. And some of them would share and some of them would just laugh about it. Mm-hmm. And it was just grueling hot. I would say one day it was like 105 degrees and we were there for 5 days.
Oh, man.
And I had a pop-up tent. And because of being in the wheelchair, sometimes I have to tilt back, especially when it gets really hot, because my lower extremities, my legs and feet will swell. Mm-hmm. So I'm tilting back under the pop-up tent, and you could hear the children, the kids yelling and screaming and having a great time at the river. All of a sudden I started thinking, I wonder if I could talk some people into putting me in a wool blanket and carrying me down to the river and just dunking me in the river. Uh-huh. Right as I'm thinking this, a big gust of wind hits me, and it blows the top of the pop-up tent, and apparently there was a big, huge portion of it that collected water. And as soon as I thought about being in the river, literally this huge waterfall just comes pouring down right into my face.
Wow.
And I started laughing, and then after I started laughing about it, another gust comes, and then it was like I was being waterboarded for a second because it was so heavy on this.
Oh, man.
And the very first thing I thought about were these water spirits that were, in a sense, they were kind of telling me, like, hey, stop asking about us. Then that night, my zipper on my tent broke. Oh. And so we couldn't zipper up my tent. And so we put a big old tarp over my tent that kind of uses like a flap door. And while I was sleeping, at 4 o'clock in the morning, I woke up, and I woke up because I literally felt like there were little entities in my tent.
Wow.
Because the flap of the door, I heard it moving and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay, maybe it's just the wind and stuff. And then I acknowledged them, and said, okay. You know, if you're here and you're here positively, I acknowledge you and you're welcome. You know, but if you are negative entities, then march on or go, you know, leave.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden the flap made another flap, and then all of a sudden we heard this huge crash of thunder. And then a storm came in like the next 10, 15 minutes. So I had this incredible experience, and there's so many more stories I like to share with you. But we finally get packed up to leave, and we come back home, and my buddy's helping me put stuff away.
We gotta take a break, buddy.
Putting away my
Nate, we're gonna take a break, but
that
hold
thought.
that thought. We'll be right back with you on the other side. So don't go away, everybody. We'll be right back for more of the Paranormal Portal and the mystery video that we're gonna show you tonight. So we'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial.
Censorship and regulation.
Everybody likes to play their games. Everybody loves to place their bets. They don't understand the price I paid. They don't care to comprehend. Trace their lines upon my body, dripping scars across my heart. Raging anger boils inside me as their lies keep falling apart.
like those she's with. They're attracted to the one thing about her that's different from themselves. Her life force is very strong. It gives off its own illumination. It is a light that implies life and memory of love and home and earthly pleasures. Something they desperately desire, but can't have anymore. Right now, she's the closest thing to that.
Poltergeists are usually associated with an individual. Hauntings seem to be connected with an area. A house, usually.
Poltergeist disturbances are of fairly short duration, perhaps a couple of months. Hauntings can go on for years.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Paranormal Portal. I'm your host, Brent Thomas. I'm joined by Mr. Don Longbeard.
Hi.
Hi.
Was that your Richard Branson?
I wasn't quite full Cockney, but it was half Cockney.
Sorry.
Which is about right for Richard Branson.
Half Cockney.
Yeah, well, part of that. That's all I'm going to say. Anyway, we are joined right now by our caller, Mr. Nase, who is sharing with us his experiences at the sun ceremony that he went to in South Dakota. North Dakota? South Dakota?
South Dakota.
South Dakota. So welcome back, Nase. Are you there?
Hi.
Hi. Hello.
Yes, I am here.
Okay, so we kind of cut you off there. I'm
And
sorry about that.
I am high.
Well,
Had
that's
no doubt.
So, high on life. High on life. Yes,
absolutely.
high on life.
So continue,
But
sir.
before we go to the ceremony, we're looking all over for these three critical shirts that I always bring to ceremony.
Yes.
My ribbon shirt, my navy shirt, and my buckskin shirt.
Right.
So we go there, witness this incredible high and low of ceremony, and we get back, and my buddy is helping me put things away. We're putting stuff away, and he's putting away my ribbon shirt and my navy shirt. And he's like, where does this go now? And I'm like, it goes in my closet all the way to the right by the window, right by my daughter's regalia and stuff. And so he's putting them away. And I'm like, it really bums me out that we didn't find my buckskin shirt. Because I have this beautiful handmade buckskin shirt, traditional style.
Uh-huh.
And he's putting my shirts away, and he goes, it's right here. And I'm like, what? He goes, a buckskin shirt, right? And I'm like, with ribbons? Or like fringe? And he's like, yeah, it's right here. And I'm like, no way, two-tone. The sleeves are one color and the main chest area is a different color. He's like, dude, it's right here. I'm like, no way. Didn't you look for it? He started laughing. He's like, yes, it's right here. And I'm like, you're lying to me, dude. And he's like, you want to feel it? And he takes it out of the closet and he puts it in my lap. And it's my buckskin shirt.
Wow.
And as I told you, before we left, I had 6 people literally look throughout the house for this shirt. And when we returned from ceremony, there it was in the closet where it was supposed to be. Mm-hmm. And even when I shared this with my daughters that we found the buckskin shirt, they didn't believe it.
Wow.
They were like, no way. And they had to literally go look in the closet and see it there. Huh. I can only have 2 theories on it. My first theory is the water entities that I was trying to communicate with.
Sure.
Or because I still have some of my father's ashes in my bedroom, that I'm thinking that he said, I am not going to let you wear this buckskin shirt to a sun ceremony when it's over 105 degrees out, because that would be lunacy.
Right.
But the joy of it all was we come back and my buckskin ribbon shirt is returned to me, which was just phenomenal. And was such an incredible ceremony that I pledged to go back and do Sundance next summer.
Oh, cool. Wow.
Which will be really exciting. I don't know if I shall pierce, but there's part of me that has a want and a desire of it. But the coolest thing that also came about of it is I got a new tattoo out of it.
Oh.
Because I met a gal who did old New Zealand tribal, Maori tribal tattoos.
Uh-huh.
And so I had my daughter write out my BIA number.
Okay.
And because us Native Americans are also numbered like they did with the Jews, and I tattooed it on my forearm, just like in the same spot where they numbered the Jews.
Oh.
So now I have my government documented number, as you all have your social security number.
Right.
Sure.
But
Wow.
I get that special BIA number.
No kidding. Wow. That's what a really powerful experience, though. That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's very powerful.
When you talk to these younger, I call them uncles because I met kids that are 9 years old and 14-year-olds, and they are participating in these sun dances where they're not eating for 4 days and they're not drinking water for 4 days.
Wow.
And when you hear that these 14-year-old young men are willing to pierce and do these ceremonies that have been happening for thousands of years, you're humbled by it.
Yeah.
That was one of the biggest thing. I found myself in tears, when you witness these dancers are going around and, because there's so many rounds a day that they dance around and around the tree, and they're not eating or drinking, and they're putting themselves through this, it's just remarkable.
What can you explain to me? What is piercing? You've mentioned piercing now a few times for our listeners.
Horse.
Can you let us know what it is?
Yeah, exactly, Don. Is exactly what Don said. What they do is they will do two parallel lines, which usually isn't much wider than your pinky finger apart from each other. And they'll cut these two lines into your chest or into your arm, wherever you decide to do it. And then they will take like a dowel and they would push it underneath the skin from one parallel line to the other parallel line. And then they tie a tether from that to the tree. And the tree represents life. The tether represents the umbilical cord. And men do this in a homage to the Mother Earth, because women, to create life, for children to come through women, what they go through, they tear, they bleed, they go through the pains of labor in order to perpetuate life. And this is a man's, there's many layers of the symbology of this ceremony.
Okay.
But one of it is that the cord to your chest is the umbilical cord. And then you do this ritual when you dance around the tree in like a spiral, and you go to the tree, and then you come out the spiral, and you go away from the tree, and then you lean against that piercing. And then you lean certainly to a point, and then all of a sudden it will tear out.
Oh.
And that's the man giving of his flesh and giving of his blood for the universe, for life, because this is what women go through.
Sure.
And I am humbled from, respect the womb, men, respect the womb, men. And this is part of the whole ritual of it.
Right.
And there's some natives that will actually pierce their back, and they will drag bison skulls as they're dancing in this circle. So it's a pretty empowering thing. I did what we call little like flesh offerings, where they do like a little divot, from your skin,
Okay.
Because I'm like, that's minimally what I could do,
Sure.
because there was probably about 200 people there,
Yeah.
and there was probably like 30, 40 dancers, but it's an incredible witness. And if you ever get the opportunity to be invited to one of these, I mean, I would highly recommend you experience this, because this is what I thought of the whole ceremony. If you think of extraterrestrials, and if you think of the movie Predator, and remember how he was able to use that different type of visual so he could see people like their infrared and stuff like that?
Yeah. Yep.
Because I'll say there were lights in the sky that people were witnessing during this ceremony. So if you imagine looking above and down at this ceremony, which is a circle, and all of these entities that are incredible visual spectrums of frequency, if they go into the grounds in a circle, in a spiral, and they're all dancing around in a spiral, and they go to the tree, and then they spiral back out from the tree, imagine what that looks like, when you are able to see the full spectrum of how we illuminate.
Right.
When each individual is their own illumination. And if you think of the infrared, of witnessing that, and then you see this in the microcosm. For an example is when an egg is about to be impregnated by the spermazoa, the sperm will do a spiral dance, and when they get to the center, they push into the egg, and they'll do another spiral and push into the center. And then at some point, the electromagnetivity will match, and that sperm will penetrate through the egg. And then the Big Bang happens, where life is created. And then the soul at one point comes in. So the metaphors and the iconography and the symbology of it is just incredibly fascinating. And I never find a greater delight than when technology or science validates what these Native Americans have been doing for thousands of years.
Yeah, that is really powerful. Wow. That's incredible. What an amazing night for calls tonight.
Yeah, no doubt.
This is really cool. That's amazing, brother. So this went on over a period of days, and you just got back home now?
No, actually, it was 2 weeks ago, but I had to, I got fried. I definitely got fried, and I'm already pigmentally challenged. And so I wasn't getting enough of the sunblock.
Okay.
And I'm still peeling. I've been peeling for like a week and a half now. But it was well worth it.
Yeah.
Good. Well, I'm glad that you had a great journey, brother, and thank you so much for sharing it with us here. I love what you bring to the shows. It's always neat to see, into those other practices that are so incredibly spiritual and powerful. So thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
Oh, you bet. And I'll probably be giving you a call later in the week because I want to share some more experiences with you on the side.
Excellent.
On the fly.
I'm looking forward to it. Give me a holler.
All right.
All right.
You bet. Love you guys.
All right.
Especially you, Donnie Don.
Thank you, sir. We love you just as much back. But thanks for putting A Man Called Horse back in my head, because I've been trying to forget that scene forever.
All right. Well,
all right.
Take care, brother.
All right, Toodles.
All right, guys, that was some great call-ins. Now, I've been teasing you about this video, and first and foremost, I wanted to say this was just sent to us. And Don, give us a little background.
Yeah, I'm pulling it up right here, and so our friend in
Oof.
Wow, that's the one.
It is the one. Unfortunately, the sound. I'm gonna have to mute the sound because. First of all, I think there's a couple languages in there. There might be, but also because we have many audiences. The sound will only go to the TFR, iHeart, TuneIn, and TalkStream,
Right.
not to the YouTube. So I'm just going to mute the sound altogether for this. But go ahead, Don.
So our friend Many Musings in YouTube chat, she watches us honestly all the time. We just absolutely appreciate her. She sent us this short video. And she prefaced it by my daughter just sent me the video. She's at her dad's house, and this house is always has always been really an active house. And in July, for some reason, more than any other month. In the video, she says, "Watch the can." She says the table is dry under the can, and the table is dry and the can is dry. No condensation under it, because she asked specifically for that. So, if you would.
All right, so here's the video, ladies and gentlemen. And again, there's no sound, but pay attention to the can that's in the back, and I'm going to circle it here with my mouse. Those of you on TFR, iHeart, and TuneIn and
I'm going to drop
TalkStream Live.
YouTube link in there real quick.
Don's going to put the link in the TFR. I'm not sure how many people are there.
There's a couple.
Okay, there's a couple. So if you're not already on our youtube.com/paranormal portal, please go there if you'd like to see this video. Again, the key thing to watch is the empty beer can. I think it's empty. I don't know. I guess.
I'm thinking it is.
Okay, so it's either empty or almost empty, but it's sitting here behind this green jar-like container and next to what looks like a paintbrush. So it's sitting there on the table. The movement, I will tell you, is kind of subtle, so pay attention. But it is pretty powerful stuff. So let me get this up here. What in the hell just happened? What just happened? There we go. Okay, so watch the beer can right now as it's going. There it is. See that motion? It's kind of shifting. It's kind of not really vibrating, but it's kind of like, I don't know, just nudging around.
It's like shifting a little bit left and right. It shifted up and back a little bit.
Yep.
But now it's really going to start turning on, and you're going to see it move left and right a little more. The can turning itself, yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's just kind of turning there in space. Again, nobody's touching it. We do know the person that sent it to us. It's someone that we believe in, so it's not like we're questioning the validity of that. This is just really potentially a very profound capture. Now, full disclosure, we don't know a lot about the situation here, what's going on in this scene, but this is as it was shared with us, and we're certainly sharing it with you because this is incredible, really.
Yeah, it's actually kind of cool.
And it loops again, and you can see it again. Here's moving in to see the can more clearly, but you can see it nudging around. Definitely it is moving. Nothing else appears to be moving anywhere, including, any other little objects that are on the table around it. But something is making that can move. What it is, we can't say for certain, but it is known that this house is an incredibly active house. So it has a long history of paranormal incidences, hauntings, and it's got quite a long list of things that have been witnessed in this home. So it's not without precedent in this home that something weird like this would happen. But this time they just happened to catch it on film. And again, it's not incredibly profound movement, but it is something moving up allegedly on its own accord.
Right.
And that to me is potentially incredibly profound. It doesn't have to fly around the room and
cackle,
and cackle and dance and throw itself across the kitchen. But the fact that it has some kind of motion at all is very powerful because it's sitting there untouched. The motion is, it just really looks like something's winding up,
Well, and if it was like condensation under the can, then it would only be moving one way.
Right.
It would only be spinning one way, or the whole can would move left or right. It wouldn't move back and forth.
Right.
So.
So it does. It is visibly moving. It is visibly nudging around, and the people, if you could hear the dialogue, you'd hear like, "Hey, I'm going to get out of here. This is really weird." No way, man. I'm already out of here. This is weird, you know. So the people witnessing this are actually they're disturbed. But you know, see her leaning away there. She's like, "Ah." So I mean, even the visual cues match the activity.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't know. That's very, very strange, very bizarre, and very powerful. Even though it's not it's not tap dancing across the table, but it is moving without being touched. Her arm is over here,
Right.
in front of her, and she's the closest one to it, and it doesn't appear to be anything that she's doing.
Right.
And again, based upon what we know of the person that sent it in, they wouldn't waste our time with a hoax.
Right.
So very, very cool.
That is cool.
Yeah. And thank you so much for sending this in and letting us show it on the show. To me, this is the bread and butter of the Paranormal Portal, ladies and gentlemen. Just capturing this stuff in real time,
Right.
to me, is incredibly powerful.
DH in YouTube asks, "Is it a magnet?" Well, here's the thing: that's an aluminum can.
Yeah, magnets don't disrupt aluminum. Aluminum doesn't react to magnetic fields.
Right.
So a typical magnet, if it was just a can, would not have any effect.
Right. You wouldn't be able to. You would have to glue a magnet to the bottom of it
Or
to make another magnet move it.
or fill the can with like iron shavings or
True.
something
Yeah.
like that.
Something they can pick up on inside. Yeah.
Right. So other than that, and nobody's making a motion anywhere that's visible. I don't know. It's just a really cool example of what could potentially be some really paranormal activity captured on film,
Right.
and we're showing it here to you guys. So as we're sent these things, we're more than happy to share them with you guys. This is what the show is all about. Again, nothing incredibly profound, but the fact that this can is moving without the aid of somebody visually, we can't see the aid of anybody helping it. That in and of itself is potentially incredibly profound. So I'm not making any definite claims about it, but
It's pretty
I will
cool.
just say that on first looks, it's really pretty impressive. So take it or leave it, but there it is, ladies and gentlemen, the haunted beer can. Maybe it needs another. It's like, hey, I'm empty here.
Right. Replace me.
I'm empty. I need another.
My beer is broke.
I
Replace me.
need more beer. It's a Homer ghost.
Oh no.
So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. But I really like that. Thank you so much for sending it in. Very powerful stuff. And we have another call. And this is area code 314. You're on the air.
Hey, it's Michelle.
Oh
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay. I'm sitting here reading the comments. Yeah, no, there was no magnet there.
Uh-huh.
What you saw in that video, the person holding the camera is my ex-husband.
Mhm.
And his girlfriend is sitting directly across from him. And he normally sits in that chair directly across from her to go through his bills on Sunday nights. So they sit there and they drink beer and he goes through. And he's kind of just leaning over to catch the can spinning or the can moving. But things like that have happened there a lot.
Right. Yeah, it's
We've
really,
had cabinet doors come open, the kind that are in the corner of that have the hinge in the middle of the cabinet door
Right.
Sure.
Like a
for Lazy Susans.
Yep.
I was standing there by the stove one day, about where the woman in that picture is sitting, and that cabinet door on the lower cabinets opened itself out, completely extended, and then closed itself back up.
Wow. Zoiks. So how did you like living there?
It didn't bother me at all. I
Okay.
mean, my daughter called me last week because she was home by herself, and the cabinet door in her room opened. She has one of those octagon end tables in there,
Sure.
and the cabinet door underneath that octagon table opened up on her.
Mhm.
And I mean, all kinds of things have happened. Everything from, I'd be home by myself, getting ready to soak in a bathtub, and I'd get in the tub, and just as I get in the tub, I hear like children running through the house from the half story upstairs, down the stairs,
Oh wow.
and through the house.
Wow.
And I would yell, "No running in the house," and it would stop. So,
Oh, that's really cool. Now we got a question in the chat room from Bigfoot in Germany saying, "What is the backstory on the house? Why? Any idea why it's haunted?"
I really don't know. 2 people have passed away in the house.
Okay.
None of the experiences that we've had there are tied to those people, though.
Okay.
They were not tragic. It was normal, just old people. Don't really know. The subdivision it is in, it's about 125-year-old home. And it was the original home for the subdivision, which used to be an orchard.
Oh. Michelle,
That's all I really know about the backstory on the home.
Okay.
Other than the fact that I live there.
We are going to go to break. Do you want to hold on the line and talk to us a little more on the other side, or what do you want to do?
Sure.
All right. So
That's up to you.
Hold on the line, and we'll be right back with you after these important messages. Time to pay the bills, ladies and gentlemen. All right, we'll be right back. Don't go away for more of the Paranormal Portal. right, everybody, welcome back to the Paranormal Portal. This is our last half hour of the show. It's been cruising by, and right now we are joined by Michelle on the phone. How you doing? We're back. Are you there?
I'm here.
Thanks for holding, and thanks for sticking around, because we just, ladies and gentlemen, showed the video, and that came from her family members, or it was your family members, right, that were there?
Her daughter, yeah.
Your daughter, right. And
My daughter's there. Mm-hmm.
and if you missed that video, it's a beer can on a table with just two people sitting around it, nobody touching it, and the can is gyrating and moving. Just little subtle movements, but it's moving. And we were just getting some of the backstory on that house. So you said there were children spirits in the house. What kind of other things were there?
Well, I've seen two different women, one man. There and I can't tell whether it's woman or man, but there's been on several occasions, usually in July, mind you, that we'll be home from a float trip. We've got the back door open, carrying stuff in and out, and as we're emptying out coolers, we would see somebody walk past the window right by the sink, like they were going to the back door, and we would yell, "Come in." And nobody would come in. You'd walk outside, and there's nobody there. And the yard is so big, there's no way we could run that fast to get out of sight.
Wow.
So, I mean, it's just a whole lot of things. My dad babysat when my youngest was about 3 weeks old, was babysitting, sitting there in the recliner reading his book, and the glass top end table next to him, he said it sounded like someone set a glass down on it while he was sitting there reading. We had a bassinet style thing sitting in the living room when my daughter was a baby. And I was working in the office, which was in a spare bedroom that you could see into the living room from where I sat. And right there at the edge of the wall in the living room is where the bassinet was. Mind you, baby's not in the bassinet.
Okay.
She was in her crib. But that bassinet flipped upside down and scooted 6 feet away from the wall, scared the dogs, scared me, and I was just grateful she wasn't in there.
Oh my God! Yeah.
We just moved. We moved it from that location. That we didn't have it sit against that wall anymore. We just moved it and never had another problem.
That is really powerful stuff. Did you ever cleanse the house, or did you ever try to, or did anybody try to cleanse?
Well, yeah, I cleansed it several times. Most of the time, there wasn't anything there that was threatening.
Okay.
The closest threatening thing we had was that bassinet getting flipped over and pushed.
Yeah.
But that I just felt like it was kind of like a crotchety. It felt like a crotchety old man that just didn't want it there.
Right. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And we moved it, and we, like I said, we never had another problem. We just didn't put anything back in that spot.
Hey, I'm sorry.
But there was never anything there that was frightening.
Okay.
You know, you said that it was southwest of St. Louis. Well, I also happen to know that the American Stonehenge is southwest of St. Louis, about 125 miles, if I'm right. No, maybe it's just over 100. Do you think it might have any connection with that for some reason?
No, we're not that far south. I mean, we're literally just outside of St. Louis.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, I was just thinking because it's in Rolla, Missouri, I think is where the American Stonehenge is. So, and who knows what kind of energies are flowing out of that spot. And does 44 from Rolla to St. Louis follow any waterways by any chance? Do you know?
Oh, well, there's waterways all over the place.
Well, yeah.
44 runs parallel, I think, to the Missouri River on one side.
So I'm thinking ley lines, of course.
And then we've got, I mean, there's several rivers that right down there by Rolla, what you're talking about.
Right.
There's several rivers.
I wonder if
You've
there's
got the
any connection.
Hoosiaw, the Kirtley.
Right. Huh. Interesting.
That's really amazing. And you had mentioned that this activity seems more profound
In July.
In July, is it, that was that consistently so, or was there activity
Yeah.
all of the time, but it seemed to peak then?
Oh no, there's activity all the time. It just seems to get more prominent during July.
Okay, that's interesting, and I've noticed that. I used to own a Victorian home that was built in 1894. Beautiful old home. I really loved it. I always felt it was very much my home. I felt very welcome there. But there were certain times of the year that I could feel like more so than other times that I wasn't alone, and it seemed to be in the late summer and fall is when the activity would really kick up. But the rest of the year, it was like I knew I wasn't necessarily alone, but it was such a subtle presence. So I wonder about that. I wonder why some periods of the year are so much more profound for that kind of activity, or does that indicate more residual activity at that point?
I don't have an answer to that because the activity that we saw is never the same.
Oh, okay.
So it's our residual is going to do the same thing over and over and over again.
Certainly.
But I mean, like I said, ours was year round. There was one particular spirit of a little one, like 4 years old, that I would always pick up. I think she passed of tuberculosis, but she had taken a liking to my daughter, and she would come and tug on my shirt when I would do dishes or something. But you always hear her around. I could hear my daughter at night saying, "Go away, I'm tired," telling her to go away because she would want to play.
Mm-hmm.
And she'd go away and let her play. You know, if it had become a problem, then I'd have been a little bit more
sure
insistent that they leave. But you know, if they weren't going to cause any harm, and they weren't stuck where they were, it was choice.
Okay.
So I just no reason to chase them out if they're not doing harm.
Right. Now, is your daughter also sensitive?
She was more sensitive when she was younger.
Okay.
Of my 3 children, she would be the one closest to being a sensitive.
Okay.
So there's usually more activity around us anyway.
Right. Okay. Wow, that's really, really cool. I just really thrilled that you decided to send that in and let us share it on the show. That's such an honor.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank
And
you.
I just can't thank you enough for that. It's certainly, it's not only just really cool, but it just lends to the demonstration of these phenomena all over the place. And it's one thing to talk about things verbally, but it's just a whole nother thing to see footage of activity and to have a chance to look over that. So thank you so much for that.
Well, I would have tried. I never did try to do too much in the way of EVPs or videos in the home because there's so many windows. I felt like there was too high of a chance for contamination of video or something like that. Right. So I never did try to do any of that stuff. But she just took that tonight and sent it to me tonight.
Yeah, so it's just hot off the presses.
She sent me the video and then she said, "I'm moving out."
That's really cool.
Wow.
So,
very cool. Well, thank you so much, Michelle, for sending that in and letting us have a chance to show the rest of the listeners about it. And thank you so much for calling in and shedding more light on that situation. That's amazing.
Oh, you're welcome.
All right.
All right. I'll let you guys continue with your show. You have a great night.
We will.
All right. Thanks for making it great. Appreciate it.
All right. Bye.
Good night. Well, that was cool.
That's very cool.
Really cool.
It's just really fun, and to me, that's a huge honor that people will take things that they found and say, "Hey, check this out."
Yeah.
And
they
can we show
us
it
with it? Yeah.
Right. It's like such a trust. You're right. That's a perfect word for it. Mm-hmm. And it makes me feel very honored to have that opportunity to. I mean, it just happened tonight, ladies and gentlemen. This is just a brand new video.
That's how fast we got it. That was awesome.
It's like hours old, and here it is on the interwebs right now. So, bringing it to you hot off the presses, ladies and gentlemen. That's how we roll with the paranormal here. So, Don,
Yes.
I got a few more of these stories to roll through. You think I
Sure.
should just roll through some more?
Yeah, because we got about, 10 minutes left?
We got, well, I think
I wasn't going for exact. I was just throwing it
15 minutes left.
Okay.
But, 10, 15, take, give or take. All right, let's get into this one. And we'll see what we can see about this situation here. It says, when I was younger, I was really into looking at creepy places with my friends. Mostly, we wouldn't find anything, just strange shadows or sounds that we would convince ourselves was so much more. One night, we went down to Witch Road. It's like spelled witch, W-I-T-C-H, road, as we heard there was a strange cabin in the woods that was supposedly terrifying. Generally, we did a lot of research on these places to learn about them, what other people have seen or experienced, but this time, we didn't do any of that. We found the address printed out on a MapQuest directions and took on the road. And the road is truly out in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by woods, and it was about 8:15 midsummer when we parked on the side of the road just as it was turning dusk, and we got out of the car and headed to the trunk to get our flashlights and backpacks. We rounded the end of the car and and saw the cabin, and I gestured to my friends to look at the cabin, and just then we saw what looked to be an orb that was slowly moving towards us. It was far enough in the distance that we couldn't make out distinctly what the shape was. It wasn't scary, didn't make me anxious. It actually did the opposite. I was incredibly intrigued and curious. I started walking into the woods, leaving behind my backpack and flashlight, and my friends closely followed. Breaking the silence, we heard a crashing through the woods as a man appeared to be running towards us, holding a lantern and telling us that we had to leave. We asked no questions and headed back to the car. The adventure was over.
Mm-hmm.
We were all silent and in a daze, driving away, until my friend said, "Wait, did that guy have a lantern? What year is he from?"
Mm-hmm.
Still a strange and weird moment in my life. That's bizarre. The lantern guy put an end to their fun. All right.
Well,
Sorry.
you remember that story that we read about? They were driving out to this place and they were looking at this. It reminds me of, they were looking at like up the hill at this haunted place, or they said it was haunted.
Yeah.
And the light started coming down towards them.
Yeah.
And they yelled at it, and it came faster.
Yeah, it was like crashing through the forest towards them. Yeah, it was.
And then they got in their car and took off.
Yeah.
And they passed a truck.
Yeah, with hillbillies.
Yeah,
in
with
it.
the hillbillies.
Yeah, it was a terrible story. It was like, oh my God.
That kind of reminded me of that. So yeah.
I'd be interested in.
That would be a horrible story.
I know. I can't remember where that one came from either. That was a long story too, as I recall. It was
it was.
layer after layer after layer of hell. It just went from bad to worse to like, just not thinking they were going to make it out. It was really well written. So if it was fiction, it was very well written.
Good, yeah.
I can't speak to its authenticity, but it was an entertaining story for sure. So.
Ghost hunting with MapQuest. Yeah, that sounds like a great idea, Bigfoot. We'll do that.
Oh man, that's awesome. So the next one is 5 friends and I were playing flashlight tag, hide and seek, and his huge farm. At his huge farm across the pond, he has nothing but forest. We're all playing, and 2 of us, my friend and I, have these sweet walkie-talkies. And both of us, plus another, were afraid to go into the forest, but 3 of us decided to go in since we could hide forever in there. And we go in and split up, and me by myself and the 2 others together and with walkie-talkies. And we were talking for maybe 30 minutes back and forth, pretty stoked about our hiding spots. And I even went up a tree and a bit and found the perfect little nook to just chill in. About 20 minutes goes by, and I haven't heard from them. And I walkie in, and nothing. Okay, maybe you didn't hear it. I walkie again. This time I get a beep back. It stayed live for about 5 seconds. Are these things working? I tried again, and this time I heard a distinct breathing. All right, well, they have to be messing with me. Even so, it was freaking me out, and I hop out of the tree and start heading back towards the house, and as soon as I get down, I start hearing a howling. I thought it was coyotes, but there was something off about it. It sounded just like someone in the distance howling like a coyote. I was starting to get really freaked out by this point, so I hightail it back towards the house, and I keep hearing the howling and could swear it was getting closer. And I picked up the pace and started running towards the edge of the tree line, and as soon as I crossed it, the walkie-talkie sounded again, and there was a cackle.
Oh.
Like a witch cackle. I have never ran faster in the into the house. Once I was back up, I met up with one of the friends who were seeking and told them about it. Dude and blank are still out there. They definitely freaked me out. He goes, they're back here. They said they lost track of you and just came back thinking you already came back. Turns out they came back, but lost the walkie-talkie coming back. So something found the walkie-talkie, or I was just hearing things.
Wow.
That's horrible. That's horrible. He's hearing the breathing and then the howling and then the cackling. Oh, that's not even nice. That's like creepy wicked.
That's something I would have done to somebody.
You're a bastard.
Yes, I am. I didn't know there was any doubt.
My close friend lived in New York City, and she was driving with some cousins, but they got in an accident, and this is about 2 a.m. Sunday morning. I'm dead asleep and dreamt the entire crash, and the scream from when they hit the median woke me up. It sounded like she was right next to me, screaming in my ear. As I got my phone to call her and check, she called me, and I told her bits and pieces of what I had seen, but she figured I had guessed everything until I described the dress she had on. And then she freaked out because she had never shown me the dress. She had just bought it, and I even knew there was still a tag on it.
Wow.
Yikes. Creepy. All right. This one's a little longer. How much time do we got? I got to check the time, ladies and gentlemen. It's 8 minutes. I can do it.
You can do it.
I can do it.
You can do it.
You can do it, Nikki. All right, so I keep having this recurring dream. I live near a field in real life, and in the dream, this is where it mostly takes place. So I'm walking home late at night, specifically 11:49 p.m., and I cut across the field to get home quicker. I keep checking my phone, and I look up, and there's a pure black triangle-looking object with a white light on each vertex. Not like a beam of light, more like a torch-style light. I walk faster, and I hear humming, which gets louder and louder, and I start running, and there's a hole in the fence of the separation from the field and the road, which I climb through, and then I fall as I run through, and all of a sudden, I always cut to 12:03 a.m. with the cracked screen on the opposite side of the road when I'm walking to my house, and the triangle in the sky is back to the original place in pure silence. I go to bed and wake up like nothing happened, but the reason this dream feels like it really happened is the fact that I go to bed and go to sleep in the dream. Now, the true experience, one night in July, I can't remember the exact date, I was walking through the field and hear some humming coming from behind me. The trees at the back of the field, I think, screw that, and walk faster. The time? 11:49 p.m. I look into the trees and see a bright white light, so I start to panic, drop my phone as I walk through the hole in the fence. I get to the other side of the road where I sit, having a panic attack, and think that this is exactly the same dream. Once I calm down, I check the phone and walk home. It's cracked, and it's 12:03 a.m.
Oh, wow.
My most X-Filed weird as hell moment when my dream came sort of true. Yikes.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That is crazy. Well,
at least it was only like 10 minutes or 14 minutes.
That was only a 2-minute story.
Yeah, but
I did better than I
mean,
thought.
14 minutes.
No, I know, but I was just watching the time. No,
Sure.
I hear you.
Yeah.
That's strange. Very strange, but that's what you call a premonition, right?
I do believe so.
Hey, yes, it's premonition. All right, let's see what's next here. Lost time. My brother was helping me across the country, and we borrowed a van and loaded everything up for the last trip. Just before we left, I checked my watch and called my girlfriend that we'd be hitting the road soon. My brother checked the kitchen clock, but only later told me he did. We set out but couldn't do more than 80 kilometers per hour because of the load, and When we took the off ramp of my new city, my brother told me he couldn't remember the trip. When I thought about it, neither could I. We both thought we were tired and thought nothing of it. However, when we arrived at my new house, my girlfriend asked if I broke the speed limit because we were there almost an hour early.
Wow.
When retracing the route, my brother and I both agreed that we can remember passing a certain gas station and then nothing thereafter until the off-ramp. To this day, we have no clue what happened during that hour we were missing, or how we could have traveled that fast. Not with any car or van, at least. Now, at the beginning, I wrote we both independently checked for the time, and this is important for us because one time source could have been wrong, but not both. Also, I called before we left, which limits the time we could use to travel.
Right.
Since then, we have never experienced any weirdness like it or otherwise, and I don't have any weird memories or dreams, no pieces of metal lodged under my skin, etc. Just 1 hour lost. That's crazy.
Well, it wasn't 1 hour lost, though. It was 1 hour gained.
Well, yeah, but where did that 1 hour go? I mean, what happened during that 1 hour? So what happened was lost, but the fact that they gained an hour in travel might be just worth it.
Yeah, they created a warp.
They did. They time slipped.
Time and
So
slipped on through to the
other side.
other place.
So here's another one. This one's a short and sweet one. When I was 15, my parents had me living out in their shed. Wow. We love you, son. Here's your new bedroom. He says family issues for the win, which was always left open for breeze at night. And one night I dreamt that I was in a bright white room lying on a bed or table with a bunch of almond-eyed, pale-skinned humanoids around me.
Wow.
I was scared but couldn't move, like I was weighed down, and suddenly I snap awake and feel like I literally drop onto my bed. It felt so real, and nothing like it has happened since. And I'm 30 now. It scared the hell out of me. Sleeping in a woodshed. You remember how you wanted your own room?
There was 2 times in my life where we were
funny.
living in a little place, and there was a little spot out back, a little shed that was already insulated. It was probably somebody's grow house. It was my bedroom.
Really?
Yeah, and there was another time.
Did it have heat?
Well, we put a space heater in there. It was fine because it was insulated.
Sure.
And it only had one small window.
Kind of trouble did you get up to out in there is what I'm wondering.
It was about 50 feet from the main part of the house. So yeah, there was a lot of trouble.
I'll bet there was.
Yeah. Wow.
Do you have your own TV and stuff out there?
Oh no, I didn't need a TV. I had other entertainments.
Well, there is that.
And then when I was older in Everett, I was living in Everett at the time, and I had another one. It was closer to the house, but it was good enough that me and my girlfriend could sneak out anytime we wanted. So, yeah, that was cool.
Trouble on the double.
Well, Wow. Anyhow.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we got 2 minutes left of the show. Don, how do you think tonight went?
I think tonight was awesome. I really appreciate the callers. Let's see, we had Carrie and Naysay and Michelle. And who was the first one that called in?
Who was the first one? Was it Brian?
Yes, it was Brian. That's correct. That is correct.
Who was the one?
I wanted to mention that real quick. Apparently, the dollar store here in Ponderay is haunted because I've had some of the employees tell me that stuff has fallen off. They've been stocking the wall on a peg wall, with like your oven mitts and things like that. And they would turn around, they'd walk away, and they'd come back and they'd be thrown on the floor. So,
Ooh.
yeah.
Somebody does not like their technique.
They said his name's Eddie.
Eddie.
Ed. And he was an employee who died not there, but died while he was still employed there. So he must have liked it so much he came back.
And he likes to just piss people off.
Well, apparently he was
Hey, I'm back.
he was kind of an old codger anyhow. So there you go.
What a troublemaker, that Eddie.
I don't like the way you're doing that.
That's not how we did it.
God dang it! It's not the way we did it back in the day.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So
very interesting. Well, and unfortunately, that's a corporate location, so
yeah,
there's no way to get in there and peek around.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
But anyway,
ladies and gentlemen, again, we hope you Stick around if you're on TFR iHeart. Tune in to TalkStream Live. Stick around for
That's right.
Paisley Wild
Paisley's
coming up next with the spaces between.
Yep.
She's going to be weaving her magic spell all over the place, I'm sure. And she also streams on YouTube as
Live
well.
on YouTube, yep.
So look for the Spaces Between YouTube channel, and you can watch her do her magic, just like you just got done watching us do ours. Oh, this is magic, Don. Don't you fool yourself.
Oh, I'm not.
This
not,
is
not at
magic.
all. We are magic.
We are some kind of magic. Or a curse. We're not sure which, but it's bound by magic either way.
There
so.
you go.
But we love you guys. Hope you enjoyed yourselves, and I'll be back tomorrow night with some more bedtime stories. But we love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice, take care of each other, help each other out, find the magic in every day, and remember to laugh as much as you can. Take care, everybody.
Good night.
Sweet dreams. Love, 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 love.